Welcome to the Tom Baker Unplugged podcast. Guys, welcome. Wherever you are following us from, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Tom Baker Unplugged podcast. We are glad to have you on this Saturday morning. We are glad to have you here. Welcome to another episode of the Tom Bekai Unplugged podcast. Glad to have you guys. So, like we discussed during our last episode concerning cyber security, how to start in cyber security in 2025, we highlighted the issue of artificial intelligence, the momentum, the potential, and the impact artificial intelligence has on the job market. Jobs that have been significantly impacted by the evolution of artificial intelligence inventions. And we talk about jobs, also jobs that can withstand, that are time proof and can withstand the evolution of artificial intelligence and cannot be impacted or replaced by artificial intelligence. So, like we said during that episode, today episode is concerning jobs that are eventually going to be replaced or that have been replaced by artificial intelligence and jobs that are also time proof, career proof for artificial intelligence invention. That irrespective of the advancement in artificial intelligence invention, these jobs will be protected, will be safeguarded. And as of now, these jobs have not been impacted by artificial intelligence invention. So we are going to be looking about we're going to be looking at both spectrums of the job market, jobs that are impacted by artificial intelligence, as well as jobs that are artificial intelligence proof that can withstand the advancement in artificial intelligence development. So, irrespective of how far artificial intelligence is going to advance, these jobs will be protected. Some of them might be impacted, but most of them are going to withstand the time of the advancement on artificial intelligence inventions. And so to this episode, we cover basically jobs that can be impacted by artificial intelligence as well as jobs that are artificial intelligence proof. During the last episode, I spoke about welders that we need. Welders that work with heavy iron equipment, welding, and all of that. Electricity, electricians. We are always going to need electricians, and these are two jobs that are going to be, regardless of the advancement in artificial intelligence, which we as a society always going to need welders and electricians. However, there are other careers that are going to withstand the advancement in artificial intelligence invention, but we are going to look deeper into some videos that will further expand on these job fields that are going to be protected against the advancement of artificial intelligence invention. And hopefully, in our subsequent episode, we are going to further expand on artificial intelligence inventions and its impact on our society and our world as a whole. What are the pros and cons of artificial intelligence inventions globally? Uh, as some of you may know, during my master's study in Turin, Italy, where I did my master in intellectual property law, my thesis was focused on artificial intelligence inventions. Artificial intelligence inventions. So there are some machines that produce products or have specific outputs. And so basically, my thesis were on if these artificial intelligence generated or created inventions have reached to a level where they can claim ownership to these outputs that they produce. Take, for example, if you have a robot that is able to produce maybe a table, maybe from its own intervention without the intervention of humans, or maybe the human would need to give the machines some data, and based on the data, the machine then can produce maybe a table, maybe a report, maybe a book from the data that was inputted into that artificial intelligence invention. And if that data turns out to be a picture, a book, maybe a movie, does that artificial intelligence invention then has the right to claim ownership to its output or its production? So take for example, another example could be you have an artificial intelligence invention and you are able to sort data, maybe thousands of photos from the past, from the 90s to the 80s, and current photos from the 2000 up from the 2000s. And you put all these photos into that artificial intelligence uh, product, and that artificial intelligence machine then could make new photos from the 80s, old photos from the 80s, but maybe new output that's so brand new due to all the productivity of the machine and how advanced that machine is. Can that machine now claim ownership to the photos, the new version of photos that the machine have produced? So that was the focus of my research. But my research outcome and the conclusion was that because in patent law, in order to claim ownership in patent law, it needs to be a human creator. So a patent owner, a patent holder, or a creator has to be a human being, a human creator, a human inventor. That is according to the patent law globally. Globally, the patent law has a stipulation that in order to be a creator, an innovator, an inventor, you must have a human quality. You must be a human being. And so, because of that law, and there haven't been any new changes made to that law, irrespective of the advancement in artificial intelligence. So because of that law, a machine then cannot claim ownership to its output. However, the inventor of that machine that programmed that machine and set it up to have specific outcome that imported the data into that machine can claim ownership to the produce or the output of that machine. So up to present, the patent law have not changed. In order to be an inventor, you must be a human inventor, a human creator, a human innovator. And so because the patent law have not changed, so we don't have machines that claim ownership, excuse me, we don't have machines that have legal ownership to any product or output of that machine. We had the Davos case where that was an application was sent to the European Patent Office. Since the Davos machine was able to produce specific uh, output, and so then the creator of the Davos machine was filing that the machine should hold ownership to its output. And then the European Patent Office said, "Oh, but this is a machine. It doesn't meet the patent law requirement that in order to be a creator or inventor or innovator, you must be a human being." And so, because of that, that application was rejected. So, a machine cannot file for patent right to a machine cannot file to be a patent right holder, or maybe an inventor cannot say, I produced this machine and this machine produced this photo, so I want to apply for my machine to be an inventor or to be a creator. And so the European Patent Office rejected that application. However, there have been some developments. Continue to be new development in artificial intelligence generated and created inventions, but we haven't reached the threshold where the stakeholders within the intellectual property or in the innovative space will have to change the patent law to say, now that we have reached this stage, aside from human, machine can also be creators and inventors. We haven't reached that level, and according there have been discussions have been held considering including machines into that, trying to amend the patent law, but they haven't reached that level to really convince the stakeholders that that would be necessary. So, as it stands, machines cannot claim ownership, and machines cannot be granted patent right to hold ownership to uh, to products, to services, or to any other outcome or any other innovations for that matter. So as it stands, machines have no ownership to patent rights. Only a human creator, only a human inventor, and a human innovator. That is the requirement as subscribed, as indicated by the patent law, the global patent law. So that is the situation right now with patent law. Let me verify. I got notification. We are live on Rumble. We should be live on Facebook, but let me check out the audio. Make sure everything is going as planned. Let me check out the audio here and see what's going on here. Got notification. We are live on Rumble. Okay, so our audio is good. audio is good, so we don't need a mic again. Thanks to my ThinkPad Lenovo. ThinkPad Lenovo. I don't know the specific model that I have right now. I will check it up and see the model. But we are good. We don't need a microphone. We are live on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. Ready to rumble. So let's go into the video. We have been live for about 15 minutes. This time I would like to meet the benchmark of at least 15 to 20 minutes, you know, before going into the live video or going into the recordings that we have here to play. Just to do a little elaboration on what jobs have been impacted by artificial intelligence invention, as well as jobs that are time proof, career proof against artificial intelligence. So this is going to be our episode for today. So, guys, we want to applaud you for your continuous support to this podcast, your continual follow, your likes, your comments, your share. We appreciate it dearly. We ask you to continue to subscribe to our channel, continue to follow, continue to engage our content. We dearly appreciate you guys. And so let's move into this video. Let's move into it. Let's move into it. I think we're about, let's say 15 minutes. Let me discard it. So 17 minutes. Let's make 20 minutes. At least for now, going up onward, all my podcasts, I'll have to dive into it for 20 minutes before I go through the actual videos, because we have to meet certain requirements for the Facebook. You cannot be there maybe for 5, 6 minutes and you just go directly into a third-party content. You have to be there for a specific length of time, the original content, before you can include third-party content. As of now, we always like to use third-party content to deeply expand into the various topics we discuss here. Because just coming from me, I could do the research individually, discuss the topic that we are always doing here. We did it here for about 2 years with our intellectual property discussions. We have several topics that we have discussed here for hours. Wow. Looking back now, I actually started a podcast about 2 years ago, trying to reflect on my knowledge, my experience, work experience in artificial intelligence, my education, trying to basically reflect, since I'm not really engaged in artificial intelligence or intellectual property related work, but just trying to reflect my memory. What could be the best possible ways to do that? What could be the best alternative to use in order to refresh my memory, not to just read some of my old lessons? I said, oh yes, a best route could be sharing my knowledge, my experience having worked in and intellectual property, what some of the roles I play, what were some of the duties, the assignments, the obligation. I think it would be a good thing for me to go live to discuss some of the topic. What is artificial intelligence? What is the World Intellectual Property Organization? What are the obligations of the intellectual property organization, what roles countries have to play in order to uh, promote innovation in a country, what is the economic benefits of supporting intellectual property innovations in your country, and what impact can that have globally in terms of economic productivity, economic outcome. So that's when I decided to do the intellectual property and trade nexus podcast. That's of my first podcast, the intellectual property and trade nexus podcast, and that's how we begin. We did it for roughly going up to 2 years. We did that, and we had to diversify to include other topics that were critical, and not to just limit ourselves to intellectual property and international trade regulations, but to include other thought-provoking topics like dating and intersexual dynamics, politics, male self-improvement, being a male myself, my life experiences, what made me a productive male, what my aspirations are, what my experiences are, and how can I share my experiences that other people cannot make the same mistake I made, and how to maneuver, how to navigate your life challenges, how to be a determined individual, and how to proceed in life. What are the experiences I've had, and just motivational lessons that I've shared here on this podcast. So that's how we were able to diversify the podcast from intellectual property and trade nexus to now the Tom Tomica Unplugged podcast. Why Tom Tomica Unplugged podcast? Unplugged simply means that we are not tied to, or we are not relying on the global news, the global narrative. Oh, this is what the global news say, and this is what it is. Then we just leave it there. No, we have to go deeper. We have to share personal experiences. We have to go outside of the global narrative. We have to remain unplugged. Unplug is that we are unplugged from the global narrative. The narrative, the global news media sell us. We are not going to limit ourselves to this. We are not going to limit ourselves to the narrative of the government, the established government, to the elites. We are not going to limit ourselves to the corporations that seek to profit off our vulnerability, the corporations that seek to profit off of our ignorance. So we are unplugged. We are unplugged out of all this narrative. We need to ask the tough questions. We need to go deeper into exploring for ourselves. We cannot limit ourselves to what is said by the global news media narrative or the propaganda, and we just swallow them. We have to be intellectual enough. We have to challenge the narrative. We have to go deeper. We have to do our own self research into uncovering and discovering the truth for ourselves. So we are unplugged, the Tom Tomica Unplugged podcast. We are not limited to what is trending. We are not limited to governmental narratives. We are not limited to corporate narrative. We are not limited to propaganda. politics. We are open to challenge. We are open to corrections. We are open to research. We are focused on fact findings. We are not intimidated by the elites. We are not going to limit ourselves to what is sold to us. We want to ask the tough questions, challenge the narrative, go deeper into finding the facts through research and through engaging the general public. So that's why this podcast is called the Tom Tombika Unplugged podcast. Tom Tombika, having worked in government, there are certain tenets of working in government, there are certain protocols and procedures. As a professional working in government, there are things you cannot say publicly. There are things you have to keep indoor. There are bitter pills you need to swallow silently. And when we were in government, we comply and we work in a professional environment as a professional for over 10 years. But right now I'm a private citizen. I'm in the private sector. I hold no allegiance to governmental tenets, policies, procedures. I am Tom Tombika unplug of the narratives, unplug of the dictates of established governmental private authorities. So that's why we go by the Tom Tombika Unplugged. So enough of me renting here. Let's go into the actual topic, looking at jobs that are artificial intelligence proof in terms of career, as well as jobs that are going to be heavily impacted by artificial intelligence innovations, advancement, and development. So these are jobs you need to be quite aware of. If you are in those fields, try to find alternative fields, especially fields that cannot be impacted by artificial intelligence. Because few years back, 5 to 10 years back, there was nothing, artificial intelligence was not a thing. I can say about 5 years back, that's when we started really hearing about artificial intelligence invention. For me, that I was working in intellectual property, international trade. We did several studies, sessions on artificial intelligence. Like I said, during my advanced trade policy course, I spent a day at the World Intellectual Property Office in Geneva. And then that whole day was for us to look at issues related to intellectual property. And after that, that was the eye opener, the actual eye opener for my intellectual property knowledge, career, and everything. And after that, advanced trade policy course in 2018, 2019, I had an internship at the World Trade Organization. I decided to go and visit the organizer of the program we had in 2018. I said, oh, since I have her email, I have her address, let me pay her a visit. I sent her an email, I have her contact. I said, oh, I'm here for the WTO internship. I'm in Geneva. I would like to come to see you, say hi, extend my gratitude and appreciation for all the knowledge you share. She said, wow, that's interesting. Actually, all the people that have been coming here for intellectual property, all the seminars we have held with students and young people come here, nobody ever felt any obligation to come back and say thank you or say hi. So I'm really shocked and surprised that you want to come. Okay, here is the schedule. There's the time. Come at this time, you see me. So I went to the office. I spoke to her. She said, "Oh, I appreciate your gesture of coming back to say thank you and to say hi. But these are the programs we have here. I'm also going through several online intellectual property related courses like patent right, copyright, trademarks, mediation. She said, "Oh wow, so that's interesting." But however, these are the courses. This while you are here, we are going to be having the WIPO and University of Geneva summer RP summer school. Are you interested? I said, yes, I'm interested. She said, oh, these are the information you need. You can get registered, send you to an intern. It will be free. You have nothing to pay. All you need to do is register for the course. The course is running 2 weeks, 1 week at WIPO office in Geneva and 1 week at the University of Geneva. 2 weeks for the program. And when you successfully complete the program, you have a diploma. So I did the program, successfully did the program, completed the program for that 2 weeks. I had to skip through my internship, pop in my internship and go through the program. And certain time I had to ask for excuse. But I completed the program successfully while doing my internship. And it was a very good experience. I met a lot of friends, had a lot of got gained a lot of knowledge on intellectual property, how to develop your research. We for our group, we did a research presentation at the end of the course to present for our group. And as part of one member of the group team, I had to do a lot of research, working on the papers and doing the research, everything. That it was a great experience in total. And after that, I expressed my interest, and she told me about that WIPO also have a master program with several universities. And this is the master program. You can apply for this master program after having completed the summer intensive course. So I applied for the master program, and because I had just completed the summer intensive program, I met one of the requirements, a very critical requirement. All the other requirement was that, oh, you need to be from a least developed country, which as a Liberian, I benefit from that because when you are from a least developed country, you have more opportunity to learn or to develop your capacity. There are technical assistance programs for least developed country and developing countries as well. So that's how I got my master's scholarship. But I'll just share that story. Sometimes you need to go deeper into your life experience and share it as a motivation to others. So enough of the ranting. Let's go into the video. Let me share this video quickly with you guys. Okay, let's look at the first one. So these are jobs that is it 10 jobs AI won't replace yet. So these are like bulletproof for AI.
It's only supposed to replace only 40% of our jobs right now. AI, everything that's going on, people are worried. However, do you know what's the one invention that replaced a ton? I'm talking more than AI did. It was a tractor. A tractor and fertilizer alone took US, we're in the 1900s, out of 76 million people that live in America, 41% of the working people in America were working in agriculture, farming. By 2000, that 41% went to 2%. Replaced, gone. Why? Because of tractors and fertilizers. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 jobs that can have in sales that I don't think AI is going to replace anytime soon. If you give out value out of this video, give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So I want you to think about this the following. Think about a product that you don't buy, that you're sold. What did you buy because someone sold it to you? Not like we buy an iPhone, we buy an iPad, we buy gold, we buy beer, we buy cars, we buy homes. What are you sold? Let me give you an idea. Do you own life insurance? Or did you buy life insurance, or were you sold life insurance? If you own life insurance, you probably said, no, this guy was hounding me, until eventually my wife and I sat down, and guess what? We finally bought life insurance. Yes, because no matter what they do, life insurance will be a product that someone has to sell you most of the time. Yes, maybe term insurance, but it has to be sold. That's one of the products that AI is not going to replace anytime soon. The second one is financial planning and wealth management. Now you may say, what are you talking about? I go on ChatGPT and I ask, what's the best mutual? What's the best stock? What should I do? What's a good timing run? Should I buy Ethereum? Should I buy this? It tells me everything. Really? Yeah. Okay. So how many different financial institutions are there? Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch. Think about all of those, right? Do you think AI can convert the clients from taking their money from Morgan to Goldman Sachs? Who does that? Can AI do that? How do they do that? Actually think about it. How is somebody going to come and persuade this client that's got $28 million at Morgan Stanley to move it to Goldman Sachs? That needs to be a person. Anything that's high wealth, management, financial planning.
Alors pourquoi les entrepreneurs qui bossent avec MDB achètent des entrepôts désaffectés plutôt que des villas par exemple?
Parce qu'ils font de l'achat-revente express et que ce sont les biens qui rapportent le plus.
Ouais, mais si...
That requires a relationship, not the know-how. The know-how AI is going to replace. The know-how for you to spit in based on 28 questions somebody asked, to say this person's risk tolerance is this. These are the 3 recommendations I'm making for a mutual fund here. These are 7 stocks that would be good for this person. These are 4 products that would be good for this person. That AI will replace. But the idea of somebody moving the money from here to here, it's going to require a human being to do it. Number 3, expensive real estate. If you're dealing with $4 million property, $5 million, high-end property, somebody needs to sell it. AI is not going to do it. Someone needs to come and take you through it. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people. There was a lady, I'll never forget. We made an offer on this house, and the lady's like, I'm doing it myself. And there's no way I'm going to pay a realtor 6% or 5%. I'm going to do it myself. It was the most difficult human being I ever dealt with when I wanted to buy a house. It was almost annoying because of how often she changed her mind, right? Versus you deal with somebody, they speak to the other person, they negotiate together, collectively deal is done. You're going to need that human interaction on high, expensive real estate being sold. At least for now, until robots show up one day. Luxury products, you're selling a $100,000 watch, $50,000 watch, $1 million watch, jewelry. You're going to need somebody to come and sell it to you. It needs to be sold. Don't get me wrong. You're going to buy some of that stuff yourself as well, but somebody needs to sit me down and say, this Lamborghini is this, that car is this. It's a higher ticket item. I deal with my contacts. I have a handful of guys that I'll call and say, I'm looking for this car. I'm looking for that. They go find them and they go bring it to me. Probably the last 20 cars that I bought, it's been delivered to me. It's been shipped over here. But I deal with somebody who goes and finds that for me that I don't have the time for. I don't think that's going to wait anytime soon. Private equity, venture capital, you're going to need to deal with somebody, a person that's sitting there with me and, hey, here's what the structure will look like. Okay, no, I'm not open to this. Well, how about we do this? Well, I would like to do this. Well, we want you to agree to anytime you spend over $500,000, you have to get it approved by us. I don't want to do that. You're working for me, can't do another job. I'm not agreeing to that. You need somebody to go back and forth to do that whole private equity transaction. That part, you're going to need somebody to negotiate. At least for now, again, before robots show up, you're going to need a human being. Next one is consulting and coaching. Think about it this way. You go on ChatGPT, ask any question you want for consulting. I want to be able to take my business and this is my current comp plan. What should I change it to? What would it look like? What are the best successes it's had? You can ask those questions of AI, right? But if you deal with a consultant, somebody that's an expert operator that's been there before, and you say, I'm thinking about doing this. You sold your business for this. You build a business like this. You have a channel like this. You were able to, create an HR department like this. How did you do it? Somebody can sit down because they have an expertise to share with you. That will not be going away because even that person is going to share with you how they leverage AI to take their business to the next level. They're still the expert operator for now. Until in future, right now, still, if you're dealing with a consultant that is an expert operator, they're going to be able to give you counsel on what worked for them. For example, right now, if you're watching this, if you're asking yourself, I want to raise money, I want to hire new people, I want to expand into a new market, I want to find a better marketing strategy to take my YouTube channel to the next level. I want to deal with, I'm having a lot of HR issues. How do I do it? You can ask me the question on that. And if it isn't me, I'm going to introduce you to other people that can help you out. Now, you have asked me the question. I will share with you. Why? Because I went from the process of zero to selling a business for $250 million. I've dealt with every state of regulation you can think about in the financial industry, marketing, YouTube, all of that stuff. Consultants who have moral authority, who are expert operators, won't be replaced by AI anytime soon. Next thing is legal services. By the way, you can right now go and ask a bunch of different questions about legal on ChatGPT or Grok, by state laws, whatever maybe they'll give it to you, right? So now somebody represents you. Tell me how ChatGPT or Grok's going to represent you in court. Somebody needs to go negotiate with the judge, convince them that you're okay. They're going to need an emotional person to get me to sit there and say, man, I didn't know that person's going through this. I don't know. That was actually a very good argument. You're right. You know what? We're good to go. If you're very, very good at what you do on legal and selling that service to others, I don't think it's going away anytime soon when it comes down to having someone fight on your behalf. You think about marketing. You hire somebody to do marketing for you. Why would that not be replaced by AI? Maybe you can ask ChatGPT to write a script for you. Of course you can. Maybe you can ask it to give you a good script for a video or something like that, for sure. But you're still going to need to hire somebody to tell the story. Why? Because storytelling requires to make an emotional connection. Okay? Think about whatever robot movie you ever watched. Okay? Think about any one of them you just watched, right? I even watched Creator that came out a year and a half ago. It's actually a very good movie. I watched it a couple times. The emotion is tied to who? The emotion isn't tied to a robot that does the impossible. What makes you get emotional is when you see someone who's a human being do something and tell you a story where you sit there and you're like, man, I'm one of you, you're one of me. Respectfully to overcome what you just said. You just connected with me. Robots gonna have a hard time connecting with you. But human beings, it's a very different connection. Marketing, storytelling, human beings, it's gonna be around for a while. Next one, somebody that teaches someone to play certain sports, soccer, baseball, football, whatever it may be. You're gonna need a human being to teach another human being how to get good at something. Now, let's say a robot is teaching you how to be a better player, right? This person's gonna be like, well, I'm never gonna be as good as you, you're a robot. But a human being can look at a screen using AI on what you do with your elbow to say, bring it up, bring it down, stand like this, and watch and say, hey, try to do this, put your foot down, your timing is too much, look at your body, you're going through this. So a human being leverages AI to help you to make your swing better.
Donnez-moi une soirée pour vous révéler l'algorithme exact qu'Anthony Bourbon utilise pour scaler ses entreprises. Anthony Bourbon et moi-même organisons un atelier live exclusif le 23 septembre à 20h pour vous révéler les 3 niveaux secrets qui permettent de générer une hypercroissance à n'importe quelle entreprise. Cliquez maintenant autour de cette vidéo pour réserver votre place gratuitement. Si votre entreprise génère moins de...
To shop better. There's still going to need to be an interaction with somebody who knows how to train you how to do those things. Won't be going to anytime soon. And the last one I want to say to you is kind of sales, but you can put it with leadership. Whether it's sales leadership, something that you're going to be interacting with human beings a lot. The skill set today, because everybody is like this right now, and everybody's on their iPads right now not looking at you, the value of knowing how to deal with human beings and interact is becoming more valuable today than ever. Why? Because the last few years we've lost it. We don't have my kids are, oldest son is 13, 11, then 8 and 3. We still don't have a smartphone for them. If you meet my kids, they're going to talk to you. You come to my house, they're going to talk to you. But unfortunately, most of us have this. We're like this, glued to it, right? At our cigar lounge, we don't allow any cell phones. Why not? Because when you come to the boardroom, I want you to talk to each other. Set that aside, right? So in any instance where you're going to know how to deal with a group of people, human nature, get the best out of them, challenge them, encourage them, get them to work together, man, that's such a valuable asset today. And I think it's going to be for a very, very long time, including knowing how to leverage AI. You're still going to need somebody that knows how to deal with other human beings. How these other guys are going to be replaced. Telemarketing is transactional. Retail sales associates, transactional. Inbound sales representative, transactional. Can be AI doing it. Lead qualification specialist, transactional. Appointment setter, transactional. Customer service, transactional. AI can do that. Subscription renewal specialist, maybe a little bit of human being, but still transactional. Follow-up email specialist, transactional. Product demo, transactional. A ton of these jobs are going to be replaced because of AI. But if you know how to deal with high ticket and you're good with people, the market's going to need you for a very long time. Very. It's probably the most important time today to be good at human nature. It's probably the most important skill set today, to be good at human nature. Yes, knowing how to deal with AI, but if you know how to manage the people that are dealing with AI, human beings, you are very valuable. Very, very valuable. If you got value out of this video thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you've never seen the video titled Why Most Salespeople Fail, click here to watch it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye, bye-bye.
You've been working on AI safety for 2 decades at least.
Yeah, I was convinced we can make safe AI, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized it's not something we can actually do.
You have made a series of predictions about a variety of different dates. So what is your prediction for 2027?
Dr. Roman Yampolsky is a globally recognized voice on AI safety and associate professor of computer science.
He educates people on the.
So that's the first video. Let's stop streaming here. So that's the first video looking at jobs that cannot be artificial intelligence cannot replace. Let's look at the other video here. Look at jobs that are rigs.
No surprise there. But what if I told you that AI can do a better job at certain job types than others? And that's exactly what we're going to cover in today's video. Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brian, and I'm a corporate recruiter and career strategist. And I made it my mission to demystify how careers and hiring works at major corporations. So if this kind of content interests you, make sure you hit the subscribe button. You may also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future content. And as always, I'm keeping a pulse on what's going on in the labor market and seeing how things are evolving. And it's no surprise to anybody that AI is the big talk of the town. It's one of the most disruptive things that's happened, certainly in my career lifetime. So when I came across a report breaking down specifically Microsoft Copilot's AI tool and how people are leveraging it in their job, it caught my attention. And I'm going to walk through some of the data that is coming out of it. And it's a little bit eye-opening, but some of it's not super surprising. So without further ado, let's head in and check it out. So here's the research report in question. Now, obviously, I'm not going to read through all 41 pages of this, but I will do my best to try to summarize what the data is telling us. And I think some of the key points here is the information came from Microsoft. So Microsoft Research took a look at 200,000 anonymous conversations between users and specifically just the AI model Copilot. So that's the Bing Copilot. So this is not taking into account what's happening with ChatGPT, what's happening with Grok or any of the other models. Basically what they were looking for is
Beide 7 Tage AI Agent Challenge helfen dir nicht nur zu verstehen, was Agents sind, wie du sie anwenden kannst, sondern helfen dir auch dabei, deinen ersten Agent zu erstellen. Hier zum Beispiel haben wir einfach ein.
What are the most common activities that people used in their AI assistants? Why did they go to the Copilot? What were they asking the Copilot to do? So essentially what they did is they rated the satisfaction of the interaction that the person had with the model. And then, in other words, did the model give them what they were looking for and how did they use it? And then basically created a chart predicting which roles would likely be replaced or could be replaced with generative AI versus which roles are likely not going to be replaced with generative AI. So there is another thing that we should be aware of. And let me just scroll down here to the third page. The data is going back, the collection period is from January 1, 2024 to September 30th, 2024. So this data, even though this report was just published very recently as I create this video, and this is in 2025, in July of 2025, that's now data dating back all the way to January of last year. That's basically like ancient history as far as these models are concerned. So given that, let's take a look at the roles that are most likely to be at least augmented by AI according to Microsoft's Copilot. Now, when you look at this chart, coverage basically means are people in this job type using AI for this particular, for their role. Completion means are they happy with what the AI is giving them? So the thumbs up versus thumbs down. Then the scope is how many of the tasks can AI handle in their role? And the score means how many of these tasks are successfully being executed by AI in general. So obviously the top one, we talked about this in a previous video with Duolingo and the interpreters and translators. Interpretation and translation is something that AI has a tendency to do pretty decent on. It's not perfect, but it does pretty decently on. And so if you're somebody that is interpreting from one language to another, to textbooks or, you know, whatever the case may be, you will have some difficulty staying relevant in your space. So if you're a translator or an interpreter, that's your bread and butter, I would be trying to think of ways to, you know, maybe future-proof myself and figure out what you can do next, or at least figure out ways to use AI very effectively and try to stay ahead of the curve. Now, the wheels have historians. Again, it's like being able to analyze a lot of data very quickly and be able to interpret it, summarize it, make it more concise and consolidated. Obviously, with a historian, you'd have to look through a lot of different information, try to interpret very dense text, and AI is particularly adept at reading it very quickly, again, turning it into more digestible formats, being able to translate it into different forms. So interpreters and historians obviously are going to be an issue. Passenger attendants, I'm not really sure what they mean by that, unless it's a flight attendant. Although I can't necessarily see how a flight attendant would use AI in order to handle their job. So I'm not really sure about that one. Next is a sales representatives of services. So basically, if you go into a website and you start to interact with somebody, we've been using these automated sales related services for a long time. If you call your phone company or your internet company and you're trying to get new service or upgrade service or cancel service, you basically get put on with an AI, or I should say an automated system that tries to go through and convince you not to do it or upgrade your service or basically get you set up. It's getting really sophisticated at this point with these AI agents who can basically talk to you in kind of a very conversational way. In some cases, you may not even realize that you're talking to an AI, or it gets harder and harder to determine whether or not you're talking to an AI, and especially if it's chatted, like typed out. These chatbots have gotten really sophisticated with that. So I could see this as being, you know, the customers or a sales representative for service utilizing AI to research their product, research a question, kind of come up with a quick answer that they can then either use to, you know, send the customer a note, or in some cases, companies are just flat out, you know, replacing certain jobs with these basically Autobots. Writers and authors. I think this is one of the, you can kind of see the same type of thing. If you're working in a data-driven, like you having to retrieve information, being able to communicate with somebody, being able to write and interpret and copywriting, I think that those are ones that the AI in its current form is particularly adept at. It starts to get more where it struggles a little bit more is with creative and analytical, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But this is not necessarily surprising that you'd see writers and authors. And that's there's going to come a day where you're going to anything you read is going to be AI generated, and so it's going to be harder and harder. Honestly, it's already getting hard to try to find authentic content that is out on the internet, and it's really, to me, it's really disheartening because
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
Most of the content that you see out there now, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on Facebook, certainly like X, and even YouTube is starting to get that way, where it's becoming less authentic. You're basically just, people are regurgitating. I noticed there's like a lot of reactionary videos of content where people aren't really adding much to it. It's just basically compiling everybody's stuff and just like agreeing with them or disagreeing. There's not really a lot of new information that's being brought out or giving them guidance and advice. And I think that with the faceless AI, and especially as we're moving like image creation, like the you know, there's a lot of AI generated. I use some of it, like AI photos and stuff like that can really tell the story of what you're trying to convey. The AI photos are a lot another thing, but this the writers and authors is definitely a, you know, thing that feels a little bit dystopian to me, because you're basically not going to know whether or not you're reading something that's original or it's just AI generated. Nowadays, I think Google actually has updated their algorithm to try to reduce the amount of basically low quality crap websites that just are AI generated and they don't add anything new. They don't they don't really add value. So we also have customer service reps. Again, it's the same thing as these sales representatives. Just kind of switch it to the customer retention side, where they're handling basic stuff that you have to go through layers in order to actually talk to a human being. I know a lot of customer service reps have been offshored, but the next step there is to, instead of doing offshoring, just switch it over to an AI bot that basically does the same exact things. So there is certainly customer service reps are going to become more and more automated. Really interesting one, CNC tool programming. I think that's kind of an interesting one. So if people are saying, well, go with blue collar, well, blue collar, CNC, and machining, you can take a fairly complex print and a set of instructions. You can basically feed it into an AI. The AI can interpret it, put all of your instructions in program CNC, and basically now you're just a basic machine operator. And in some cases, they're actually automating that portion too, where you're even taking robotics and moving it in and out of the machines. So, just because it is blue collar doesn't mean you're necessarily safe. Telephone operators, I'm going to put that in a customer service rep. Same thing for like travel clerks and ticketing agents, which to me, I feel like those have been kind of becoming much less common. Although you see how much employment, like 100,000 people employed as ticketing agents and travel clerks. With the advent of and this is not new technology, but with the advent of travel sites like Expedia and things like that, most people don't really go to travel agents anymore because you don't really need to and pay any kind of an extra fee unless they get kickbacks for you, unless you just want somebody else to do all your travel for you. But nowadays you can just kind of go in and compare, get the best rate yourself. So that's not entirely surprising. This one was surprising to me. Broadcast announcers and DJs, are you going to start listening to the radio and hear an automated, what do they use AI for? I'm just kind of thinking, unless they're doing the research on something to talk about in between songs, I don't know what they would use that for. Brokerage clerks, kind of the same thing. Telemarketing. You're probably already getting a bunch of robocalls. I have a partnership with Delete Me that we try to get people away from those, but you're gonna get you opted out of them. But telemarketing, it's already a problem. I'm gonna skip through some of these, just kind of some of them are kind of repeating, but journalists and reporters, obviously, especially the written. Probably, I imagine there's going to be a day where you're going to be watching the mainstream media and not know if you're listening to an AI person or not. So that's certainly an interesting one. I'd like to see where that one progresses. But mathematicians, technical writers, these are two that technical writing for sure, and it's not surprising to see proofreaders and copy markers, but this proofreading is another one that AI is particularly adept at. Mathematics, I mean, they can these AI systems are starting to get, or these models are starting to get so advanced that they can handle computations much quicker than a mathematician might be able to do it themselves. And is it analytical? Yeah, it's an analytical job, but if it's mathematics and you're just doing computations, it's a little different than analytical, where you have to look at a problem and then figure out the best way to solve it. So there's two different competencies there. PR publishes teachers statistic, again, it's new account clerks, advertising sales agents. Again, if you think about the commonality here, it is typically stuff that is, you're sitting in front of a computer doing repeating tasks. You're doing stuff that requires quick research. You're doing stuff that requires you to put together written communication of some sort, reporting, etc. This is where we are seeing the AI. Again, this is data that's fairly old, but this is where we're seeing the AI being the most impactful. Even getting down here, web developers, then you have data scientists, which, if you're a business analyst, it's kind of really twofold. You're probably going to need to leverage AI to generate the research pretty quickly and to analyze the data. But then when you analyze the data, there is an analytical side of it. So it's just because you see data science on here doesn't necessarily mean that AI is going to come and take your job, but rather these are jobs that are going to be leveraging or have the ability to leverage AI much more significantly. If I'm in one of these types of careers, I got to be really thinking about how do I future-proof myself? And it doesn't mean that these roles are going away necessarily, but
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. We need to finish this project. Alhamdulillah, I'm here at Masjid Isa ibn.
How do I future-proof myself, and how do I make myself more adaptable in being able to leverage the AI? Because here's the deal: people are going to be replaced. There are going to be some people who are not adapting, who are going to be caught off guard and will be replaced. The people who are leveraging these tools, making themselves even more productive and more invaluable, are the ones who are going to be able to retain their jobs. That's just the reality of where we're heading in this new market. And it's market's changing. You know, the Industrial Revolution changed everything. You know, the Internet Revolution changed everything. Old jobs went away, new jobs came out. So this is part of the evolution of the work cycle, and we're just in another major one. This might be the most impactful one of them all, to be honest with you. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is one of the most impactful ones. I'm going to keep on talking about this AI stuff because it's such a big topic and it keeps on changing so rapidly. And there's never been at least in my career, there's never been a bigger disruptor. Not necessarily saying a bad, but rather a disruption to how we normally do things. So the old is out, the new is in, and this is where it is going. Let's just take a quick look at the lowest roles that are least likely to be adapted by AI. If you want true AI freedom, I guess you could say, it was going to go and be a phlebotomist, take people's blood. There's a lot of a fairly decent amount of jobs there, but be in phlebotomy, be a nursing assistant. You got a lot of jobs, and they don't use it very frequently in their job. So that's a good one to be. If you want to be in hazardous waste, there's some pretty manual ones, helpers, painters, plasterers. You could be an embalmer. Not a lot of jobs, pretty morbid, but nonetheless, there's not really, AI is not going to be doing that very anytime in the near future. You got some plant and systems operators, so some manufacturing type of roles, some industrial roles, auto glass installers and repairs, oral surgeons. So if you want to take people's teeth out, not a lot of jobs, but they hardly ever use AI. Not surprising. Tire repairs and changers, ship engineers. You got some maintenance workers on highways, production workers. So a lot of these blue collar roles, medical equipment preparers, packaging and filling operators, machine feeders. So again, this very manual type of work. Dishwasher. So, you know, as of right now, a dishwasher is not really leveraging AI in their role. So, you know, you've got some job security if dishwashing is your thing. Cement and mason finishers, firefighter supervisors. I didn't realize there was 84,000 of those roles in the United States. That's crazy to me, but they apparently do not leverage AI very often to look at to do their job. Same thing with massage therapists. I don't know if I would trust an AI to do a massage on me. Feel like that could go wrong, that could very badly, and don't know how forgiving that would be. Surgical assistants, I think I'm probably happy that we're not utilizing a ton of AI for some of this, although there has been some stuff I've been reading where surgeries are being done more increasingly by robots, and they have a success rate that apparently is higher than in some cases an actual surgeon. So I don't know how I feel about that one. But then you have gas pumping station operators, roofers. You have some cleaners and maids. So you're kind of seeing a lot of these equipment operators and maintenance roles. Obviously, you're going to see. That's not surprising. A lot of blue collar roles are not going to be leveraging AI. It doesn't mean that companies won't leverage robotics to replace some of those roles. I'm just saying this is just strictly, are they using AI in their job? And is AI going to augment? That's the key here. So not necessarily replace, but augment their role. And to what degree? If you're looking at this and trying to interpret the data, like if you have a role that's highly augmented, that can be highly augmented, and you've got a lot of people are actually using that, but that's probably an indicator to me that a company's going to be looking at those roles and saying, do I really need this? If I can do a lot of the tasks and people are actually using it today, do I really actually need them? Do I need that person? So if you're looking to change careers, you're looking to start a career, you may want to start paying attention to this kind of data so that you can make better decisions with future-proofing yourself. So there's like, it's kind of twofold. Choose a career type that is likely to not be replaced by AI or to be less likely to be replaced by AI, which is going to, again, be, I'd say, analytical jobs that require you to not only just take the data and then compile it and put it into nice numbers, because that's what AI does well, but being able to take that data and then
Most people over 40 use ChatGPT like it's Google. Copy, paste, ask a basic question.
Creative and analytical decisions based off it. So like strategic based decisions. That's where I would focus the first. Or I would be looking at roles that are really creative. You didn't see any creative roles here. Now, I do know that AI is a threat to graphic design. I know that AI is a threat to photography, etc. I've even seen some stuff going on in the music industry that's interesting, but I haven't seen any creative type roles. Didn't see any really like marketing roles in here, which is kind of interesting. So what we're seeing is those two types of jobs, those two types of jobs, the analytical and the creative, are the ones that I would probably, AI is going to struggle to do that. AI cannot create. AI can duplicate, mimic. That's what AI does. So being authentic, being unduplicatable is basically the best strategy going forward as you're dealing with the AI challenge that's ahead of us. So I thought that this was a really interesting look. Again, use this with a grain of salt. This is strictly what AI is being leveraged in jobs to augment. This is not to replace. So this is again no, we shouldn't be panicking here, but we should be using these types of data points to start making better decisions in our careers. And how can we start using AI to our advantage to make ourselves more valuable? Because if you're not doing it, somebody else will be, and companies will be looking at retaining the people who are leveraging it more effectively. So if you're somebody that's just like refusing to even look at it and head in the sand, your job is going to be more at risk. Not necessarily the job type, but your specific job in a company that is actively looking at that type of outsourcing or augmentation is going to be at risk. So refusing to adapt is a foolish way to approach your career. Head out of the sand now. We need to start looking future forward, starting to make better, more strategic decisions about how we handle things going on. There's never been a more important time than right now to start reclaiming control in your career. And this is what I talk about. This is what I teach. This is what my trainings are all about. This is what the webinar that I have on my website, if you're interested, lifeafterlayoff.com, there's a free webinar there. This is all about how you start to future-proof yourself and stay relevant in a job market that is evolving rapidly. Things are evolving more quickly than I've ever seen.
Grammarly helped me get the best grades possible while depleting the least amount of hours of my week. I'm Lauren Taylor. I'm a student in Future CMO, and I am a Grammarly user. Grammarly's AI Compose can help me narrow down what to write about. I can, in 15-20 minutes, have a decent outline of what I'm going to be writing over the next week or two. Grammarly is tailored with writers in mind. If, as a student, you want to put your best foot forward, Grammarly is your go-to. Download Grammarly for free.
Imagine bringing your side project to life just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan.
So now we have to be proactive. You can't just sit back, let things happen, and then complain about how things are going. We can complain till we're blue in the face, but the problem is it doesn't change what's happening in the market, and the market's evolving. So I implore you to start taking this proactively not with a sense of fear, but rather a proactiveness, and look at how you can use AI to your advantage. And then if you are in a high risk job, make a decision. Like, is now a time to pivot into something that's a little bit safer? Maybe. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. You have two choices. You either stay in that job type that is going to be, more at risk, but then you use your creativity to start becoming less replaceable. Be the person who's the expert in AI in your space. Or if you don't, you're going to be left behind, and the employers are looking at this stuff now. It's too disruptive. It's too in our faces. It's too everywhere. It's like the floodgate is open, and everything is coming in full force. And it is not. If you think it's just they're gonna go, oh, you know what? Never mind. We're not gonna do this anymore. You're being foolish. This is only going to continue to accelerate. And there is a bit of an existential crisis with this. Like, what does work look like in 10 years, 20 years? My kids. What is it gonna look like for them? I don't know. I'm trying to pay attention to this. This stuff is changing so rapidly. This stuff is this type of content is interesting to you, and you're kind of wondering where things are going. You can follow me along in this journey, and we're gonna learn together. So appreciate the attention, and give a thumbs up if you like this content, so that it gets out to more people. So anyway, appreciate you watching. That's all I got for this one, and I'm gonna bring you some more of this type of content coming up pretty soon. But this is all I got. So appreciate watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Pay attention. Aim plus reflection.
Okay, guys, so that's the two videos I was talking about. Jobs that are time proof, career proof for artificial intelligence that are not going to be impacted by artificial intelligence inventions, as well as looking at jobs that are already being impacted by artificial intelligence advancement and development. But this next video, we are going to look at basically the impact of artificial intelligence, looking at how impactful artificial intelligence will be long term. And this is from the Joe Rogan show. AI safety expert. These are the only 5 jobs that will remain in 2030 by Dr. Roman Yampolsky. So this is the next video that we're going to look at. Very interesting video, guys. Very, very interesting.
Terrifying truth of AI
and what we need to do to save humanity.
In 2 years, the capability to replace most humans in most occupations will come very quickly. I mean, in 5 years, we're looking at a world where we have levels of unemployment we've never seen before. I'm not talking about 10%, but 99%. And that's without super intelligence. A system smarter than all humans in all domains. So it would be better than us at making new AI. But it's worse than that. We don't know how to make them safe. And yet we still have the smartest people in the world competing to win the race to super intelligence.
But what do you make of people like Sam Altman's journey with AI?
So a decade ago, we published guardrails for how to do AI right. They violated every single one. And he's gambling 8 billion lives on getting richer and more powerful. So I guess some people want to go to Mars, others want to control the universe. But it doesn't matter who builds it. The moment you switch to super intelligence, you will most likely regret it terribly.
And then by 2045.
Now this is where it gets interesting.
Dr. Roman Yampolsky. Let's talk about simulation theory.
I think we are in one. And there is a lot of agreement on this. And this is what you should be doing in it, so they don't shut it down. First,
I see messages all the time in the comment section that some of you didn't realize you didn't subscribe. So if you could do me a favor and double check if you're a subscriber to this channel, that would be tremendously appreciated. It's the simple, it's the free thing that anybody that watches the show frequently can do to help us here to keep everything going in the show. in the trajectory it's on. So please do double check if you subscribed, and thank you so much, because in a strange way you're part of our history and you're on this journey with us, and I appreciate you for that. So yeah, thank you. Dr. Roman Impulski, what is the mission that you're currently on? Because it's quite clear to me that you are on a bit of a mission, and you've been on this mission for, I think, the best part 2 decades at least.
I'm hoping to make sure that super intelligence we're creating right now does not kill everyone.
Give me some context on that statement, because it's quite a shocking statement.
Sure. So the last decade, we actually figured out how to make artificial intelligence better. Turns out, if you add more compute, more data, it just kind of becomes smarter. And so now, smartest people in the world, billions of dollars, all going to create the best possible super intelligence we can. Unfortunately, while we know how to make those systems much more capable, we don't know how to make them safe, how to make sure they don't do something we will regret. And that's the state of the art right now. Then we look at just prediction markets. How soon will we get to advanced AI? The timelines are very short, couple of years, 2-3 years, according to prediction markets, according to CEOs of top labs. And at the same time, we don't know how to make sure that the systems are aligned with our preferences. So we're creating this alien intelligence. If aliens were coming to Earth and you have 3 years to prepare, you would be panicking right now. But most people don't even realize this is happening.
So some of the counter arguments might be, well, these are very, very, very smart people. These are very big companies with lots of money. They have a obligation and a moral obligation, but also just a legal obligation to make sure they do no harm. So I'm sure it'll be fine.
The only obligation they have is to make money for the investors. That's the legal obligation they have. They have no moral or ethical obligations. Also, according to them, they don't know how to do it yet. The state-of-the-art answers are, we'll figure it out when we get there, or AI will help us control more advanced AI. That's insane.
In terms of probability, what do you think is the probability that something goes catastrophically wrong?
So nobody can tell you for sure what's going to happen. But if you're not in charge, you're not controlling it, you will not get outcomes you want. The space of possibilities is almost infinite. The space of outcomes we will like is tiny.
And who are you and how long have you been working on this?
I'm a computer scientist by training. I have a PhD in computer science and engineering. I probably started work in AI safety, mildly defined as control of bots at the time, 15 years ago.
15 years ago? So you've been working on AI safety before it was cool?
Before the term existed, I coined the term AI safety.
So you're the founder of the term AI safety?
The term, yes, not the field. There are other people who did brilliant work before I got there.
Why were you thinking about this 15 years ago? Because most people have only been talking about the term AI safety for the last 2 or 3 years.
It started very mildly just as a security project. I was looking at poker bots, and I realized that the bots are getting better and better. And if you just project this forward enough, they're going to get better than us, smarter, more capable. And it happened. They are playing poker way better than average players. But more generally, it will happen with all other domains, all the other cyber resources. I wanted to make sure AI is a technology which is beneficial for everyone. So I started to work on making AI safer.
Was there a particular moment in your career where you thought, oh my God?
First 5 years at least, I was working on solving this problem. I was convinced we can make this happen. We can make safe AI. And that was the goal. But the more I looked at it, the more I realized every single component of that equation is not something we can actually do. And the more you zoom in, it's like a fractal. You go in and you find 10 more problems, and then 100 more problems. And all of them are not just difficult, they're impossible to solve. There is no seminal work in this field where, like, we solved this, we don't have to worry about this. There are patches. There are little fixes we put in place, and quickly people find ways to work around them. We jailbreak whatever safety mechanisms we have. So while progress in AI capabilities is exponential or maybe even hyper exponential, progress in AI safety is linear or constant. The gap is increasing.
The gap between the
how capable the systems are and how well we can control them, predict what they're going to do, explain their decision making.
I think this is quite an important point because you said they were basically patching over the issues that we find. So we're developing this core intelligence, and then to stop it doing things, or to stop it showing some of its unpredictability or its threats, the companies that are developing this AI are programming in code over the top to say, okay, don't say that rude word, don't do that bad thing.
Exactly. And you can look at other examples of that. So HR manuals, right? We have those humans, they're general intelligences, but you want them to behave in a company. So they have a policy, no sexual harassment, no this, no that. But if you're smart enough, you always find a workaround. So you're just pushing behavior into a different, not yet restricted subdomain.
We should probably define some terms here. So there's narrow intelligence, which can play chess, whatever. There's artificial general intelligence, which can operate across domains, and then super intelligence, which is smarter than all humans in all domains. And where are we?
So that's a very fuzzy boundary, right? We definitely have many excellent narrow systems, no question about it. And they are super intelligent in that narrow domain. So protein folding is a problem which was solved using narrow AI, and it's superior to all humans in that domain. In terms of AGI, again, I said, if we showed what we have today to a scientist from 20 years ago, they would be convinced we have full-blown AGI. We have systems which can learn, they can perform in hundreds of domains, and be better than human in many of them. So you can argue we have a weak version of AGI. Now, we don't have super intelligence yet. We still have brilliant humans who are completely dominating AI, especially in science and engineering. But that gap is closing so fast. You can see, especially in the domain of mathematics. 3 years ago, large language models couldn't do basic algebra. Multiplying 3-digit numbers was a challenge. Now they're helping with mathematical proofs. They're winning mathematics Olympiads, competitions. They are working on solving millennial problems, hardest problems in mathematics. So in 3 years, we closed the gap from subhuman performance to better than most mathematicians in the world. And we see the same process happening in science and in engineering.
You have made a series of predictions, and they correspond to a variety of different dates. I have those dates in front of me here. What is your prediction for the year 2027?
We're probably looking at AGI as predicted by prediction markets and tops of the labs.
So we'd have artificial general intelligence by 2027. And how would that make the world different to how it is now?
So if you have this concept of a drop-in employee, you have free labor, physical and cognitive, trillions of dollars of it. It makes no sense to hire humans for most jobs. If I can just get, a $20 subscription or a free model to do what an employee does, first, anything on a computer will be automated. And next, I think humanoid robots are maybe 5 years behind. So in 5 years, all the physical labor can also be automated. So we're looking at a world where we have levels of unemployment we've never seen before. I'm not talking about 10% unemployment, which is scary, but 99%. All you have left is jobs where, for whatever reason, you prefer another human would do it for you. But anything else can be fully automated. It doesn't mean it will be automated in practice. A lot of times, technology exists, but it's not deployed. Video phones were invented in the 70s. Nobody had them until iPhones came around. So we may have a lot more time with jobs and with world which looks like this. But capability to replace most humans and most occupations will come very quickly.
Okay, so let's try and drill down into that and stress test it. So a podcaster like me, would you need a podcaster like me?
So let's look at what you do. You prepare, you ask questions, you ask follow-up questions, and you look good on camera.
Thank you so much.
Let's see what we can do. Large language model today can easily read everything I wrote and have very solid understanding. But I assume you haven't read every single one of my books. That thing would do it. It can train on every podcast you ever did, so it knows exactly your style, the types of questions you ask. It can also find correspondence between what worked really well, like this type of question really increased views, this type of topic was very promising, so you can optimize, I think, better than you can because you don't have the data set. Of course, visual simulation is trivial at this point.
So you can make a video within seconds of me sat here and...
So we can generate videos of you interviewing anyone on any topic very efficiently, and you just have to get likeness, approval, whatever.
Are there many jobs that you think will remain in a world of AGI? If you're saying AGI is potentially going to be here, whether it's deployed or not by 2027, what kind... And then, okay, so let's take out of this any physical labor jobs for a second. Are there any jobs that you think a human would be able to do better in a world of AGI? Still.
So that's a question I often ask people. In a world with AGI, and I think almost immediately we'll get superintelligence as a side effect. So the question really is, in a world of superintelligence, which is defined as better than all humans in all domains, what can you contribute? And so you know better than anyone what it's like to be you. You know what ice cream tastes to you. Can you get paid for that knowledge? Is someone interested in that? Maybe not a big market. There are jobs where you want a human. Maybe you're rich and you want a human accountant for whatever historic reasons. Old people like traditional ways of doing things. Warren Buffett would not switch to AI. He would use his human accountant. But it's a tiny subset of the market. Today we have products which are man-made in US as opposed to mass-produced in China. And some people pay more to have those. But it's a small subset. It's almost a fetish. There is no practical reason for it. And I think anything you can do on a computer could be automated using the technology.
You must hear a lot of rebuttals to when you say it, because people experience a huge amount of mental discomfort when they hear that their job, their career, the thing they got a degree in, the thing they invested $100,000 into is going to be taken away from them. So their natural reaction, for some people, is that cognitive dissonance, that, no, you're wrong, I can't be creative, it's not this, it's not that, it'll never be interested in my job, I'll be fine because... You hear these arguments all the time, right?
It's really funny. I ask people in different occupations. I'll ask my Uber driver, are you worried about self-driving cars? And they go, no, no one can do what I do. I know the streets of New York. I can navigate like no AI. I'm safe. And it's true for any job. Professors are saying this to me. Oh, nobody can lecture like I do. Like, this is so special. But you understand it's ridiculous. We already have self-driving cars replacing drivers. That is not even a question if it's possible. It's like, how soon before you fire?
Yeah, I mean, I've just been in LA yesterday, and my car drives itself. So I get in the car, I put in where I want to go, and then I don't touch the steering wheel or the brake pedals, and it takes me from A to B, even if it's an hour-long drive without any intervention at all. I actually still park it, but other than that, I'm not driving the car at all. I mean, obviously in LA we also have Waymo now, which means you order it on your phone and it shows up with no driver in it and takes you to where you want to go.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite clear to see how that is potentially a matter of time. For those people, because we do have some of those people listening to this conversation right now, that their occupation is driving, to offer them, and I think driving is the biggest occupation in the world, if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure it is the biggest occupation in the world.
One of the top ones, yeah.
What would you say to those people? What should they be doing with their lives? Should they be retraining in something, or what time frame?
So that's the paradigm shift here. Before we always said this job is going to be automated, retrain to do this other job. But if I'm telling you that all jobs will be automated, then there is no plan B. You cannot retrain. Look at computer science. 2 years ago, we told people, learn to code. You are an artist, you cannot make money, learn to code. Then we realized, oh, AI kind of knows how to code and getting better. Become a prompt engineer. you're going to engineer prompts for AIs. It's going to be a great job. Get a 4-year degree in it. But then we're like, AI is way better at designing prompts for our AIs than any human. So that's gone. So I can't really tell you right now the hardest thing is design AI agents for practical applications. I guarantee you in a year or two it's going to be conscious as well. So I don't think there is a this occupation needs to learn to do this instead. I think it's more like we as a humanity, then we all lose our jobs. What do we do? What do we do financially? Who's paying for us? And what do we do in terms of meaning? What do I do with my extra 60, 80 hours a week?
You've thought around this corner, haven't you?
A little bit.
How to make your space mosquito free in just minutes. This easy and smart trick you can try tonight to get rid of.
What is around that corner, in your view?
So the economic part seems easy. If you create a lot of free labor, you have a lot of free wealth, abundance, things which are right now not very affordable become dirt cheap, and so you can provide for everyone basic needs. Some people say you can provide beyond basic needs. You can provide very good existence for everyone. The hard problem is, what do you do with all that free time? For a lot of people, their jobs will give them meaning in their lives, so they would be kind of lost. We see it with people who retire or do early retirement. And for so many people who hate their jobs, they'll be very happy not working. But now you have people who are chilling all day. What happens to society? How does that impact crime rate, pregnancy rate, all sorts of issues? Nobody thinks about. Governments don't have programs prepared to deal with 99% unemployment.
What do you think that would look like?
Again, I think a very important part to understand here is the unpredictability of it. We cannot predict what a smarter than us system will do. And the point when we get to that is often called singularity, by analogy with physical singularity. You cannot see beyond the event horizon. I can tell you what I think might happen, but that's my prediction. It is not what actually is going to happen, because I just don't have cognitive ability to predict a much smarter agent impacting this world. Then you read science fiction. There is never a super intelligence in it actually doing anything, because nobody can write believable science fiction at that level. They either banned AI, like Dune, because this way you can avoid writing about it, or it's like Star Wars. You have this really dumb bots, but nothing super intelligent ever. Because by definition, you cannot predict at that level.
Because by definition of it being super intelligent, it will make its own mind up.
By definition, if it was something you could predict, you would be operating at the same level of intelligence, violating our assumption that it's smarter than you. If I'm playing chess with super intelligence and I can predict every move, I'm playing at that level.
It's kind of like my French bulldog trying to predict exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm going to do.
That's a good cognitive gap. And it's not just he can predict you going to work, you coming back, but he cannot understand why you're doing a podcast. That is something completely outside of his model of the world.
Yeah, he doesn't even know that I go to work. He sees that I leave the house and doesn't know where I go.
Buy food for him.
What's the most persuasive argument against your own perspective here?
That we will not have unemployment due to advanced technology?
That there won't be this French bulldog human gap in understanding and, I guess, like power and control.
So some people think that we can enhance human minds either through combination with hardware, so something like Neuralink, or through genetic re-engineering, where we make smarter humans.
Yeah.
It may give us a little more intelligence. I don't think we're still competitive in biological form with silicon form. Silicon substrate is much more capable for intelligence. It's faster, it's more resilient, more energy efficient in many ways.
Which is what computers are made out of versus
Exactly.
the brain. Yeah.
So I don't think we can keep up just with improving our biology. Some people think maybe, and this is very speculative, we can upload our minds into computers. So scan your brain, connect com of your brain, and have a simulation running on a computer. And you can speed it up, give it more capabilities. But to me, that feels like you no longer exist. We just created software by different means, and now you have AI based on biology and AI based on some other forms of training. You can have evolutionary algorithms, you can have many paths to reach AGI, but at the end, none of them are humans.
I have another date here, which is 2030. What's your prediction for 2030? What will the world look like?
So we probably will have humanoid robots with enough flexibility, dexterity to compete with humans in all domains, including plumbers. We can make artificial plumbers.
Not the plumbers. That felt like the last bastion of human employment. So 20, 35 years from now, humanoid robots. So many of the companies, the leading companies, including Tesla, are developing humanoid robots at light speed, and they're getting increasingly more effective. And these humanoid robots will be able to move through physical space, but make an omelette, do anything humans can do, but obviously be connected to AI as well, so they can think, talk.
Right. They're controlled by AI. They're always connected to the network, so they are already dominating in many ways.
Our world will look remarkably different when humanoid robots are functional and effective, because that's really when I think like the combination of intelligence and physical ability is really doesn't leave much, does it, for us human beings?
It's not.
Not much. So today, if you have intelligence through internet, you can hire humans to do your bidding for you. You can pay them in Bitcoin, so you can have bodies just not directly controlling them. So it's not a huge game changer to add direct control of physical bodies. Intelligence is where it's at. The important component is definitely higher ability to optimize, to solve problems, to find patterns people cannot see.
And then by 2045, I guess the world looks even more, which is 20 years from now.
So if it's still around, Ray Kurzweil predicts that that's the year for the singularity. That's the year where progress becomes so fast. So this AI doing science and engineering work makes improvement so quickly we cannot keep up anymore. That's the definition of singularity, point beyond which we cannot see, understand, predict.
See, understand, predict the intelligence itself, or
what is happening in the world? The technology is being developed. So right now, if I have an iPhone, I can look forward to a new one coming out next year, and I'll understand it has slightly better camera. Imagine now this process of researching and developing this phone is automated. It happens every 6 months, every 3 months, every month, week, day, hour, minute, second. You cannot keep up with 30 iterations of iPhone in one day. You don't understand what capabilities it has, what proper controls are. It just escapes you. Right now, it's hard for any researcher in AI to keep up with the state of the art. While I was doing this interview with you, a new model came out, and I no longer know what the state of the art is. Every day, as a percentage of total knowledge, I get dumber. I may still know more because I keep reading, but as a percentage of overall knowledge, we're all getting dumber. And then you take it to extreme values, you have zero knowledge, zero understanding of the world around you.
Some of the arguments against this eventuality are that when you look at other technologies like the Industrial Revolution, people just found new ways to work, and new careers that we could never have imagined at the time were created. How do you respond to that in a world of superintelligence?
It's a paradigm shift. We always had tools, new tools, which allowed some jobs to be done more efficiently. So instead of having 10 workers, you could have 2 workers, and 8 workers had to find a new job. And there was an hour job. Now you can supervise those workers or do something cool. If you're creating a meta invention, you're inventing intelligence, you're inventing a worker, an agent, then you can apply that agent to the new job. There is not a job which cannot be automated. That never happened before. All the inventions we previously had were kind of a tool for doing something. So we invented fire, huge game changer, but that's it, it stops with fire. We invent a wheel, same idea, huge implications, but wheel itself is not an inventor. Here we're inventing a replacement for human mind. new inventor capable of doing new inventions. It's the last invention we ever have to make. At that point, it takes over. And the process of doing science, research, even ethics research, morals, all that is automated at that point.
Do you sleep well at night?
Really well.
Even though you spent the last, 15, 20 years of your life working on AI safety, and it's suddenly among us in a way that I don't think anyone could have predicted 5 years ago. When I say among us, I really mean that the amount of funding and talent that is now focused on reaching superintelligence faster has made it feel more inevitable and more soon than any of us could have possibly imagined.
We as humans have this built-in bias about not thinking about really bad outcomes and things we cannot prevent. So all of us are dying. Your kids are dying, your parents are dying, everyone's dying, but you still sleep well, you still go on with your day. Even 95-year-olds are still doing games and playing golf and whatnot, because we have this ability to not think about the worst outcomes, especially if we cannot actually modify the outcome. So that's the same infrastructure being used for this. Yeah, there is humanity level death-like event we're happening to be close to it probably, but unless I can do something about it, I can just keep enjoying my life. In fact, maybe knowing that you have limited amount of time left gives you more reason to have a better life. You cannot waste any.
And that's a survival trait of evolution, I guess, because those of my ancestors that spent all their time worrying wouldn't have spent enough time having babies and hunting to survive.
Suicidal ideation, people who really start thinking about how horrible the world is, usually escape pretty soon.
You co-authored this paper analysing the key arguments people make against the importance of AI safety. And one of the arguments in there is that there's other things that are of bigger importance right now. It might be world wars, it could be nuclear containment, it could be other things. There's other things that the governments and podcasters like me should be talking about that are more important. What's your rebuttal to that argument?
So superintelligence is a meta solution. If we get superintelligence right, it will help us with climate change, it will help us with wars, it can solve all the other existential risks. If we don't get it right, it dominates. If climate change will take 100 years to boil us alive, and superintelligence kills everyone in 5, I don't have to worry about climate change. So either way, either it solves it for me, or it's not an issue.
So you think it's the most important thing to be working on?
Without question, there is nothing more important than getting this right. And I know everyone says that you take any class, but you take English professor's class, and he tells you this is the most important class you'll ever take. But you can see the meta level differences with this one.
Another argument in that paper is that we'll be in control, and that the danger is not AI. This particular argument is that AI is just a tool. Humans are the real actors, the present danger, and we can always maintain control by simply turning it off. Can't we just pull the plug out? I see that every time we have a conversation on the show about AI. Someone says, can't we just unplug it?
Yeah, I get those comments on every podcast I make, and I always want to get in touch with a guy and say, this is brilliant. I never thought of it. We're going to write a paper together and get a Nobel Prize for it. This is like, let's do it. Because it's so silly. Like, can you turn off a virus? You have a computer virus you don't like it. Turn it off. How about Bitcoin? Turn off Bitcoin network. Go ahead, I'll wait. This is silly. Those are distributed systems. You cannot turn them off. And on top of it, they're smarter than you. They made multiple backups. They predicted what you're going to do. They will turn you off before you can turn them off. The idea that we will be in control applies only to pre-superintelligence levels, basically what we have today. Today, humans with AI tools are dangerous. They can be hackers, malevolent actors, absolutely. But the moment superintelligence becomes smarter, dominates, they no longer the important part of that equation. It is the higher intelligence I'm concerned about, not the human who may add additional malevolent payload, but at the end still doesn't control.
Using the right weight matters. The Body Pod lets you easily understand what is the fastest way to reach your health and fitness goals at an accuracy of 98%. You can measure 45 different body metrics and understand.
It is tempting to to follow the next argument that I saw in that paper, which basically says, listen, this is inevitable. So there's no point fighting against it because there's really no hope here. So we should probably give up even trying and be faithful that it will work itself out. Because everything you said sounds really inevitable. And if with China working on it, I'm sure Putin's got some secret division. I'm sure Iran are doing some bits and pieces. Every European country's trying to get ahead of AI. The United States is leading the way. So it's inevitable. So we probably should just have faith and pray.
Well, praying is always good, but incentives matter. If you are looking at what drives these people, so yes, money is important. So there is a lot of money in that space, and so everyone's trying to be there and develop this technology. But if they truly understand the argument, they understand that you will be dead. No amount of money will be useful to you. Then incentives switch. They would want to not be dead. A lot of them are young people, rich people. They have their whole lives ahead of them. I think they would be better off not building advanced superintelligence, concentrating on narrow AI tools for solving specific problems. Okay, my company cures breast cancer. That's all. We make billions of dollars. Everyone's happy. Everyone benefits. It's a win. We are still in control today. It's not over until it's over. We can decide not to build general superintelligences.
I mean, the United States might be able to conjure up enough enthusiasm for that. But if the United States doesn't build general superintelligences, then China are going to have a big advantage, right?
So right now, at those levels, whoever has more advanced AI has more advanced military. No question. We see it with existing conflicts. But the moment you switch to superintelligence, uncontrolled superintelligence, it doesn't matter who builds it, us or them. And if they understand this argument, they also would not build it. It's a mutually assured destruction on both ends.
Is this technology different than, say, nuclear weapons, which require a huge amount of investment and you have to like enrich the uranium and you need billions of dollars potentially to even build a nuclear weapon? But it feels like this technology is much cheaper to get to superintelligence potentially, or at least it will become cheaper. I wonder if it's possible that some guy, some startup is going to be able to build superintelligence in, a couple of years without the need of billions of dollars of compute or electricity power.
That's a great point. So every year it becomes cheaper and cheaper to train sufficiently large model. If today it would take $1 trillion to build superintelligence.
So, guys, this is how we bring this episode to an end on artificial intelligence and jobs that will be impacted by it, as well as jobs that will not be impacted by artificial intelligence advancement. So, we're looking forward to see you next Saturday on the next episode, guys. We call it our end here. Bye. Bye. See you next Saturday. We end this stream here. So before ending the stream, guys, my Facebook account, Tom Tombeka Unplug, have been suspended. I don't know why. There was no reason given. That I put in for an appeal. If the appeal is granted, they say I will have access to it. But right now, I can't have access to my account. It's been suspended. And the worst case scenario, if the appeal is not granted, my account will be permanently disabled. But I'm working on a new Facebook, but I'll see how to work around that. So looking forward to see you on the next episode. My account with Tom Tomeka on blog have been suspended for now, awaiting an appeal. If the appeal is successful, I'll have access to my account. If not, it will be permanently disabled. So that's the information I want to give you guys for my Facebook followers. Disappointing, but this is YouTube, this is social media. We don't own access. For whatever reason they have, I don't know. This is it's unfortunate news, but we still have access to our YouTube and Rumble. But we'll see you on the on next Saturday and give you an update on that information. So bye, guys. Bye from my end.